Here are the locations of all 3 Remembrance Duplication Sarcophagi that can be found in Elden Rings Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. In addition to the 7 walking mausoleums found in the base game, the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC has 3 sarcophagi that can be used to duplicate any of the 25 boss remembrances in order to acquire a whole variety of boss weapons, spells and gear. And as with the base game's mausoleums, each of the duplication sarcophagi can only be used once. So let's dive straight in. Number 1. Cathedral of Manus Metyr. The first Remembrance Duplication Sarcophagi can be found in the southwest of the Cathedral of Manus Metyr, located here on the map. In order to access the Cathedral of Manus Metyr area, you will need to start off at the Morth Ruins Site of Grace, located here on the map. From here, head east towards the ruins and look for the collapsed building with a slanted tower located in the middle of the ruins. Then, on the left-hand side of this building, you will see a small opening leading down into the subterranean section of the ruins. Carefully drop down to the bottom utilising torrent, and then head southwest following the cave. At the end of the cave, drop down to the next section, and from the bottom, head west and drop down again to the very next section. Then go east until you reach a tunnel, and follow it to the very end, and you will find a ladder going up. Head up the ladder and you will arrive at the Bonnie Village via its well. From the Bonnie Village Site of Grace, follow the path all the way down until you reach the broken bridge, and drop down into the ravine. Then turn right and go to the end, and then you will find a slope leading back up to the east side of the Bonnie Village on your left. From here, keep heading northeast and cross the first bridge. Go past the Whipping Hut, and then cross the second bridge to the east. If you then follow the path all the way up the hill to the north, you will go through a small tunnel and into a new area containing a furnace golem. Run straight past it and continue following the path north up the hill, and you will eventually reach the Church District Site of Grace near Rabbith's Rise. From here, continue to follow the main path round and to the south, going up the hill through the trees. Eventually, you will reach the Cathedral of Manus Metyr, which is surrounded by a body of water. You can either follow this body of water around to the left or to the right until you reach the southwest corner, and then from here you will find the Remembrance Duplication Sarcophagus. Simply walk up to it, press interact, and then the menu will appear allowing you to duplicate the remembrance of your choice. Before we move on to the next one, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell to make sure you don't miss out on even more Elden Ring content. Number 2. Finger Ruins of Rhia. The second Remembrance Duplication Sarcophagi can be found in the southeast of the Finger Ruins of Rhia, located here on the map. To access this area, you can go one of 2 ways. You can either access it by the shorter, more scenic route down the Elec River through the Cerulean Coast, then up the large coffin into the Finger Ruins of Rhia, or you can take the longer route through the Dragon's Pit dungeon, past the Grand Altar of the Dragon Communion, and then give a hop and a jump through the Cerulean Coast before heading up to the Finger Ruins of Rhia. For this guide, we will be taking the quicker route down the Elec River, so from the Castlefront Site of Grace, jump on Torrent and head east, following the path past the camp. Then, when you reach the 2 guards in red, veer left and hug the cliffside. When you reach the end of the cliff, carefully drop down onto the ledge below, working your way down the various ledges until you reach the water at the very bottom. Once at the bottom, turn right and the entrance to the Elec River cave will be right in front of you, where the water meets the cliffside. Next, enter the cave and follow the tunnel west, sticking to the left-hand side of the cave, and then rest at the Site of Grace when you reach it. After this, continue all the way through the cave until you reach the very end. Next, you will need to follow the river south, so utilising Torrent, jump down the various rocky pillars that are descending the waterfall. Once at the bottom, continue to follow the river south, sticking to the left-hand side, and you will go through various bird enemies, and eventually you will reach the Elec River downstream Site of Grace, and another waterfall. From here, very carefully drop down the ledges until you see the fallen rock pillar crossing the gorge. Walk across the pillar to the other side, and then descend down the hill, and back into the river at the bottom of the waterfall. If you keep following the river, you will then come toe-to-toe with a furnace golem, so either take it out, or run straight past it. At this point, you will want to head south towards the forest on your right-hand side, and when you reach it, you will find a path leading up the hill. Follow this path up the hill, and then you will enter the beautiful vista that is the Cerulean Coast, and the much-needed Site of Grace. From the Site of Grace, head down the hill towards the water. Then continue south as far as you can go, past the Ghost Flame Dragon, and then up the path at the far end of the water, where the map fragment Stilly is located. Then at this junction, on your left-hand side will be a large ruin, so follow the path to the very left-hand side of this ruin, and you will come out onto a long beach. Continue along the beach until you reach the Dragon's Wing. Just after the Dragon's Wing, you will see a slanted ruin, heading up the hill to your left. Go up the ruin and then you will enter the Finger Ruins of Rhia and find the area's Site of Grace. Then, from the Grace, follow the path down into the ruins until you reach another path going up onto your right-hand side. Head up this path and then you will see the sarcophagi at the end of the path, near the cliff edge. But be very careful in this area, as there are numerous finger creeper enemies hiding amongst the stone fingers that are sticking out of the ground. Once your immediate area is safe and clear of enemies, walk up to the sarcophagi, press interact, and then the menu will appear allowing you to duplicate the remembrance of your choice. Number 3. Finger Ruins of Dheo. The third Remembrance Duplication Sarcophagi can be found in the northeast of the Shadowlands, in the Hinterlands, north of the Finger Ruins of Dheo, located here on the map. In order to access this section of the map, you will need to solve the mystery of the Headless Marika statue that can be found in the Shadowkeep, at the end of the corridor to the right of Commander Gaius' Foggate. To get past this statue, you will need to use the Oh Mother gesture, which is a brand new gesture for the DLC that can be found in the north of the Bonnie Village, located here on the map. To find this gesture, once you're at the Bonnie Village site of grace, head north all the way past the village, and utilising Torrent, double jump over the ravine. Continue north on the other side, and eventually you will see a large withered tree. Under this tree, you will find a headless statue of Marika, and on the floor will be the Oh Mother gesture that you will need. Now that you have the gesture, fast travel back to the Shadowkeep back gate site of grace, and then head down the corridor to the statue. Once you're in front of it, perform the Oh Mother gesture, and the statue will slide out of the way, unveiling a passageway that leads to the Hinterlands. Once you have entered the Hinterlands, head east going around the large chasm, and you will encounter 2 back-to-back Tree Sentinel boss fights, which you can either take on or run straight past. Either way, when ready, head across the bridge and activate the Hinterland Bridge site of grace. From here, follow the path east and then take the right-hand path when it forks, and this will lead you to the Fingerstone Hill site of grace. From this site of grace, follow the path down until you have dropped 2 levels, and then head north, following the cliff on your left, working your way amongst the fingerstones sticking out of the ground, but be careful as many finger creepers will be roaming the area. Once you have reached the end of the cliff, head east and follow the cliff edge, and you will then find the Remembrance Duplication Sarcophagi on a raised hill, surrounded by finger creeper enemies, so be careful when you get closer. Once at the sarcophagi, press interact and then the menu will appear allowing you to duplicate the remembrance of your choice. And that's it! You now have access to all 3 brand new Remembrance Duplication Sarcophagi. Let me know in the comments section below which 3 DLC remembrances you decided to duplicate, and whether you think you could have made a better choice. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for even more Elden Ring content.